What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at Call of Duty Vanguard yet again. Today I want to talk about something called bloom in Call of Duty, sometimes called weapon bloom. If you're new to the franchise, you probably don't know what this is. Well, actually, rather, if you're an OG of the franchise, you probably still won't even know what this is. But if you've played other FPS shooters, you might have an idea of it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Before I heard about this, I didn't know what it was. I don't really play that many other FPS shooters. I've played Valorant, a little CS:GO. And maybe like an old James Bond, GoldenEye 007, those kind of games, but nothing really else in the shooter department aside from Call of Duty. So today I kind of want to go through it, unpack it. What is bloom? How is it affecting your gunfights? Is it a big deal or whatnot? And let's talk about that in today's video. If you enjoy it at any point, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Today we're going to be watching a gameplay here on Oasis. I get a 2KD, one of my better gameplays. I have a lot of gameplays, guys, where the SVMM kicks in like a mule and it completely just ruins my entire experience. A lot of the gameplays I have on Tuscan, that like Italian map, like it's in the, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it. So a bunch of like townhouses and like roofs and stuff like that. That's an interesting looking map and it doesn't even play that badly. But for me, I cannot get a good gameplay on it. I can't even talk. I can't get a good gameplay on that map to save my life. Okay, I always get like 20 and 15 or I go like 18 and like 30 or something, I can't do well. I can't get like a 2-3 KD on it. I've only gone like positive, like barely positive, or pretty much usually negative. So one of these times I'm probably going to end up doing like a skill-based matchmaking rant video. I don't know how, important that'll be. Maybe I'll do that soon, maybe later, I don't know. But for now, I do want to talk about bloom in Vanguard. So let's talk about it. To put it simply, bloom or weapon bloom is basically just how accurate your bullets will fire. So in past Call of Duty titles, bullets fired from like when you're in your ADS stance, your aim down sights, it would always match exactly where you're aiming, which makes sense, right? It should. But for some weird reason, Call of Duty Vanguard has incorporated bloom as a strafing and weapon choice, meaning mechanics like hip fire, for instance, right? So going back to bloom for a second here, think about like when you hit fire, right? There's like a low chance you're going to hit exactly where you're aiming, right? So they basically took that kind of hip fire mechanic, probably not as heavy, but they put it into your ADS, meaning you're not exactly going to hit where you're aiming, similar to a hip fire, right? Why do this, right? This is, I don't know. Honestly, I've been experiencing, weird bullet registration, weird like, hey, I'm shooting this guy, he's not dying. I've been experiencing that a lot, and I think this has to do with it to a certain degree. Bloom incorporates an element of unpredictability into firing, with bullets firing imperfectly around like a small zone around your reticle. So, for instance, if you aim at like a wall or something, it's not like every single bullet will land in that one spot on the wall. It's gonna like have a small little circle or something like that. So this dude named True Game Data, he's another YouTuber. Basically, he did some testing and he said that, aim is still important, but your likelihood of increasing, or the likelihood of your bullets connecting will increase by ADSing, but it doesn't mean it's exactly going to hit its target, which is such a weird thing to incorporate into Call of Duty now. Like what, 14 years into the franchise, 13 years, I don't know. Like, why start here out of nowhere, and why not tell anybody about it? Why do we have these YouTubers and people complaining like, I'm not hitting my gun, my shots aren't firing, my shots aren't hitting? People are confused about this. Maybe they did announce this, maybe they did, but to my knowledge, this was broken by a YouTuber and later covered by like massive Twitter sources, and it's just weird. Why do we have this? Okay, it doesn't make sense. It's not for Call of Duty. We've gone what, 12 years without it. We've gone the past 2 Call of Duties without it. We've gone the past 8 Call of Duties without it. I don't know why we suddenly need this new feature in here. I think what's most annoying about this weapon bloom feature is that you don't know when it's affecting you, because sometimes like there's some random inconsistencies. Like sometimes I'll feel like I should not have killed that person. I literally 2-shot him across the map. And sometimes I feel like I'll put in like 10 shots to someone right in front of me and he just will not die, turn around and beam me, I know a lot of people are talking about that patent from before, like this was from last year, where, you know, if you're doing really well, your bullets won't register or something like that. I'm not that much of a conspiracy theorist to the point where I'm going to say like, oh, every time you get turned on, it's because of the patent. I'm not going to say that, but this kind of reminds me of it, where your bullets literally will not hit sometimes for no reason. You know, even if you're aiming perfectly on them, for some reason it won't hit. I guess honestly it's to simulate like, you know, realism maybe, like, because that's probably what it is like when you shoot real guns. But we don't really need that in here, you know? I guess if they're really trying to go for realism here in COD Vanguard, they can. I just wish that they would announce it, kind of explain it, and maybe like have it be seen in the beta. Because I don't think we experienced this in the beta. I don't think anybody noticed it. I definitely didn't even notice it that much. But when I started playing the game, like the full launch game of Vanguard, more so recently, obviously since it came out, I've been noticing, yeah, not on my gunfights hit, not on my, you know, fires, not on my bullets hit people. It looks like the levels of ARs, LMGs, and marksman rifles are significantly lower. So like bloom isn't a huge deal, but it looks like SMGs and pistols mostly have a little bit of a higher bloom. That's what it looks like. And sniper rifles apparently have no bloom, which is good, because if your sniper randomly misses, I mean, that's one bullet, right? So you have to fire your next bullet. Who knows if you're gonna live that long? So it's good that snipers don't have bloom. They shouldn't. I don't even think marksman rifles should either. That's kind of messed up, right? Marksman rifles shoot pretty fast and they have high damage. So if you miss, I mean, actually no, rather they shoot slowly, right? Most times it's like you cock it back or whatever. But yeah, apparently this guy, True Game Data, he discovered that like SMGs in particular have noticeable bloom. So, you know, if you're running that MP40 or whatever, yeah, you might not be doing so well. Yes, it's a new mechanic to Call of Duty, but apparently there are guaranteed ways to improve bloom on any weapon, and I'm thinking it's through the gunsmith. You're probably gonna have to choose attachments that boost your accuracy in the gunsmith in particular. So it's not referenced in the gunsmith either, right? Isn't that so odd? It says accuracy. What does accuracy mean? You know, I get +1 for accuracy. What does that mean? Does that mean recoil? Does that mean stabilization? Does that mean, I don't know, ADS speed? You know, whatever. What does it mean really? It's weird. I think in a test, I didn't watch the video, but apparently the True Game Data showed that on the M1928, when you use all the accuracy attachments possible, your total bloom was reduced by roughly 95%. So, you know, it kind of goes back to quote unquote normal. But the thing is, why do we need all these attachments to make the gun go back to normal? I get that you don't want to have all these guns that are like super broken OP, no recoil, you know, a ton of damage or whatever. I get that. You want to have some kind of balance. But purposely hurting many weapons in this game, creating an issue like bloom on these weapons, just so you have to like play your heart out to get these attachments to now fix the gun, to now make it how it should have been before you even leveled it up. It just seems kind of like, why create this issue just to have players fix it, other than, you know, the main reason being they want to increase your playtime on this game. Honestly, Sledgehammer, I got news for you. If you want to increase playtime on the game, make a good game. And honestly, you did, right? We got good maps. We got a good amount of weapons. Why create this huge issue that people now have to grind and suffer through? Like, I'm all for the grind, okay? I realize this is probably one of the longest, arduous journeys for a mastery camo, at least multiplayer-wise. Probably since Damascus, but maybe even harder than Damascus, probably even longer than Damascus, mainly because the weapons have like 70 levels and not every weapon in Modern Warfare did. Most of them had like 50 or 60, right? I'm pretty sure Sledgehammer is probably going to end up talking about this more so, because this was breaking all over Twitter yesterday and people were not happy with this, okay? A lot of people were just pissed about like, what is going on with my gunfights? I think you might see it a few times here or there in this video. Definitely in my upcoming gameplays. I have a lot of gameplays where I shoot people, they do not die, and I like walk away and then they just turn on me. It's just, it's a mess, man. But that's basically it for the video. I think I don't even know what I'm using this gameplay, but a lot of the gameplays you're going to see coming up, I'm just using the STG blueprint, the Rat-a-tat, because that gun, thanks to Deserve, shout out Deserve if you're watching this, that gun is nasty, okay? It is nuts. It is really good, high damage, It's got huge beams, long range potential. So definitely go give that gun a try if you haven't. I saw a lot of positive feedback about my videos yesterday. I realized the smoke detector thing, I'll just talk about that real quick. I got a lot of comments about that. Yes, I changed the batteries. You shouldn't hear it in this video or any videos going forward. I was just a little lazy and I had to make that video like kind of in a quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I apologize for that, but I think you all enjoyed it nonetheless. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, especially if you learned anything about Bloom, and let me know your thoughts about Bloom in the comment section down below. Did you hear about this before? Do you think it matters a lot? Have you noticed it before I ended up making this video? Because I noticed it and I didn't know what it was, and now I do, and hopefully you guys do too. So if you learned something, make sure to leave a like. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. But that's it for the video. If you want to play with me ever, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Tweet at me, DM me, whatever. I usually prefer playing with content creators, but if you're just a viewer, as long as you're cool, you don't have an annoying mic, I'm probably down. So just hit me up on Twitter. You can join the Discord as well. We usually hang out there sometimes. That's it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and peace out.